In recent time for anime, there have been big hits after massive hits. For example, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, and our favorite modern classic, Recreators. But what if we look into the past generation of anime that produced one of my favorite series out there, it still stands tall with modern anime, is Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho was written by Yoshihiro Togashi in 1990 and lasted till 1994 with 19 volumes and 175 chapters. It got an anime adaptation in 1992 and ended in 1994. You recognize the name Yoshihiro Togashi. He is most famous for creating Level E, which not many people watched, and it hurts a bit, and Hunter x Hunter, which is highly regarded as one of the best shonen manga to ever be released. But Hunter x Hunter came after Yu Yu Hakusho. A little bonus fact about Togashi is that he is married to the creator of Sailor Moon, and they've been married for many years, and that actually had many cameos between both of their series, which is a very cool thing in my opinion. Even though Hunter x Hunter is highly regarded and one of my favorite series of all time, tied with something else, which I will not name today, Yu Yu Hakusho's story and characters are nothing to push over. And talking about the characters, our story starts off with a boy named Yusuke Urameshi. Yusuke Urameshi is a typical middle school delinquent who gets in trouble a lot. And it begins as a regular day for Yusuke, but then something strange happens. After Yusuke saves a boy from almost getting run over, Yusuke dies in the process. But that's not the strange part. He becomes a ghost, and is greeted by the Grim Reaper, whose name is Botan, who gives him a second chance on life because of how Yusuke's personality is. They did not expect him to save the boy, so they could not predict that he was going to die that day, and that gave him a second chance. Yusuke looks back on his past and perceives what he has experienced. Yusuke's robust life did not have a dad, but did have an alcoholic mother, so Yusuke self-sustained himself in life, but not in the best way, because he gets involved in many fights, skips school a lot, and practically possesses no friends besides one girl named Keiko Yukimura, who's a childhood friend of Yusuke, but even in his eyes, he doesn't feel like Keiko cares about him. But then when he sees his funeral, Yusuke finds out that people in his life do care and are heartbroken about his death. This gives Yusuke a meaning to live, and wants to come back. Yusuke comes back and becomes a spirit detective, which means that he gets supernatural powers, but has to protect the world from supernatural creatures and demons. And this is where it truly shows that this is a shonen anime. But unlike other anime, I am here for characters instead of action. For example, Yusuke's internal struggle is dealing with his emotions and accepting who he is. Due to his hard past, he finds it hard to express how he feels. That's why people consider him scary or someone that is a threat. That is one thing Yusuke despises, people misunderstanding him, but he also fears about people understanding how he is and how broken he is at times. This is why he acts a bit off-putting and angry to others, but with the other leading cast members, he finds a way to become more self-confident and matures at himself as a human being. It is an internal struggle that goes deeper than this, but I don't want to be here way too long, and all the other characters in this show approach the similar type of character development, like Kuwabara. He is Yusuke's rival and best friend who is more loud and expressive than Yusuke, but also wants to prove the other cast members that he is someone who is valuable and can help, but sometimes gets in the way, and it makes him feel worse about himself. But with the other cast members, he realizes he is helpless at times, but accepts everything about it, but becomes strong in the process. The two other outstanding cast members are Hiei and Kurama. They first were enemies of Yusuke, but became allies through different methods. And these four cast members and how they interact demonstrate how these characters are in fact middle school kids, but also deal with supernatural creatures. And then we get to the Dark Tournament arc. Things change in a big way that make this show from average to something exceptional and cannot be replaced ever. And this will begin some spoilers about this story. The Dark Tournament arc starts with an enemy named Younger Toguro, and for the first time Yusuke is paralyzed with fear against a stronger enemy than him. After his psychological defeat against Toguro, he is forced to participate in a tournament filled with demons and monsters for the price of getting one free wish that is organized by corrupt businessmen. This shows not only monsters are the villain, and represents the duality of man. He is accompanied by the four leading characters and Genkai, who is Yusuke's mentor and master. She is a key character in Yusuke's development as a character. One thing I love about this arc is in the eye of the audience, Yusuke is the enemy, and this turns into an underdog story, where it's rigged against their favor. Whenever they win one match, it is satisfying, but whenever they lose one match, it is heartbreaking and devastating. Fight after fight, Yusuke's team goes into the finals, but then it gets flipped on its head. Win. Genkai gets killed by Toguro. Genkai is important to Yusuke because she represents the mother that he never had. She was hard on Yusuke, but loving at the same time. It was gut-wrenching when he saw his mentor and mother figure died before his eyes. Before her passing, she gave Yusuke all of her spirit power, but it came at a cost that he has to deal with agonizing pain and is about to die. But then he accepts himself and overcomes the pain and accepts the power. Even though he accepts himself to a certain extent, he is still distraught about Genkai's death and grieves about it, but he channels this grief into power. At this point, the fight begins with Team Toguro versus Team Yusuke, and this is the climax of the tournament arc, where Yusuke is pushed to his limits. Yusuke perseveres and defeats Toguro, and with his wish, he brings back Genkai, and this shows how human these characters are, even though some of them aren't even human at all. And that brings up one of my favorite scenes of all time in this show. And it happened a little later on, when Yusuke revealed to be part demon and realized his heart wasn't beating anymore. He and Kurama laugh and says that's how it's always been, and shows that even though they are technically demons, they are imperfect humans at heart, and laugh and cry with each other shows how beautiful human relationships are. As much as I've been praising the show, there are some faults, but which anime doesn't have some faults? The main problem was Togashi himself, sadly, because at the end, he suffered from mental problems, barely got any sleep to work on his series, and it abruptly ended, which is very sad to me, because I felt that it could have gone much farther. But some things must come to the end, sometimes early, sometimes late. You can even tell in the manga panels that the art just degraded, which is sad to see as one artist to another. Even though Yu Yu Hakusho ended abruptly, it is nevertheless an extraordinary series that I recommend to consider following. And this is why I believe that the anime is so vital to enjoying Yu Yu Hakusho. What I believe that Yu Yu Hakusho represents is how vital relationships are. Even though sometimes they can be heartbreaking, it is more beneficial to maintain those bonds, but it is equally critical to live for yourself and not just for others, and a combination of both. A little backstory about why I love Yu Yu Hakusho. I may be a little biased because of nostalgia. Because when I was younger, I watched it on the Funimation channel in 2011. This was the first anime I ever watched, even though I never knew what anime was at that time. But it was intriguing, the characters were fascinating, even at a young age. After it was done airing, it was always on my mind, but I forgot the name of the show until I found it again. I watched it over and over, never got tired of it, and I frequently watched the show almost every year. It still holds a very special place in my heart, but this is a typical story with other anime that I watched when I was younger. But for some reason I always stuck with Yu Yu Hakusho. My love for it never died. And it's still very special to me because it showed me how to express my feelings and changed me in a way. This is why I highly recommend watching Yu Yu Hakusho. And why Yu Yu Hakusho stands so tall above modern anime. Oh yeah. Okay, hey, this is Mori. I just wanted to thank you for actually coming to watch this video. If you're actually here, because this is also pre-recorded, so haha. Smart, right? Yeah, no. I just wanted, again, let's rephrase this. Thank you for watching this. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I hope there could be more. There's more videos on the way. Just wanted to shout out to people who I probably would have never done this if it weren't for the community of anime in general, which is mainly Briggs, Spooky, Too Spooky specifically, Nuxtaku, Tekken, and Many more, actually. I just can't really think of them all on top of my head. But it's amazing that I get to do a video of something that I love. Man, it's crazy. Man, okay, I think I'm holding up your time right now, but... So, this has been Mori. I'm signing out right now. Farewell.